Hi everyone, and welcome to Art with Mr. P. This week we're going to be taking a look at a lot of the things that we have been working on over the last couple of weeks. Things like line, shape, form, pattern, all kinds of color. We've talked a lot about different types of color, vibrant color, how you can use color, warm, cool colors. Talked a lot about that. Today, we're going to incorporate. That means we're going to pull everything together that we've been talking about and put it into one nice finished piece of artwork. The piece of artwork that we're going to be working on today, of course, obviously right now we're in the middle of fall, and what's the best thing about fall is those leaves falling and getting into the big piles and jumping into the big piles and making them go all over the place. But right now, of course, those leaves are changing color, a lot of different types of colors, and we want to take advantage of that. We want to put those into a nice piece of artwork and use all the things that we have been talking about to create around all the leaves. This particular project that we're going to be looking at today, you can kind of take a look at that. Like, look at some of the designs on that. It's pretty amazing what they look like. And we're going to be making 4 different kinds. You can see one in this box, one in this box, one in this box, and then down here one in this box. Different types of leaves that you would find here in New England, especially with all the different colors. Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to make the leaf. We're going to sketch it out lightly in pencil. I'm going to actually include on the Google Classroom a sheet of all different types of leaves that you would find, and it'll help you to be able to draw the leaf in each box. We're going to have one in each box. Sketch it out lightly in pencil first. Then what we're going to do is, you might notice the veins. If you look at this big one right here and look at the veins, and then each vein I have a different color. I'm going to show you how to do that in just a minute on another video. Then once we have it all painted in with watercolor, we're going to use markers, and we're actually going to go around. I have like lines that are little spokes, like on a bicycle, around my leaf. And what I did is I outlined the spokes and I outlined the leaf in marker, but I used Sharpie. What I'm going to ask you to do is, if you have a Sharpie, you may use a Sharpie. But for us, I think the best thing to do would actually be outline it in black crayon. It'll make it easier for us to use the watercolors. That way the markers don't bleed once you put the watercolors on there. Then after you paint it, as it's drying, you can take your markers and you can start doing your lines, your shapes, your forms in each of the spokes, and use lots of different color to do that. Lots of color, lots of shapes. We've talked about that. We've talked about zigzags. We've talked about straight lines. We've talked about curves. We've talked about putting them together, crossing them, intersecting. We've talked about wavy lines. We've talked about all kinds of curves, how you can put those curves together. And we're all doing it in different colors. We can, of course, incorporate different kinds of shapes, pyramids, all kinds of stars, diamonds. You know, diamonds, right? You're going to have diamonds. Hearts, polka dots, right? The polka dots. We love the polka dots. So whatever shapes you decide to put into yours, awesome. That's terrific. We want you to start thinking about how you would like each of your leaves to look around and try some different things. This is a fantastic project. It does take some time, so I want you to relax. I want you to kind of let the project come to you. It's going to take some time. We're going to sketch it out. If you're with me in class, we're going to kind of set it all up, sketch it all out, start the watercolor process. If you're at home and you have watercolors, fantastic. You can just use the regular watercolors. Here in class, we're going to actually use homemade watercolors. Mrs. Doherty's found a great way to actually make homemade watercolors. And what we're doing is we're actually taking the markers and putting them into water, and the marker, the ink that's in the marker bleeds out into the water and creates basically homemade watercolors, and that's what we're going to be using on this. You could do the same thing at home. If you have markers, put them in a little cup of water, and there you go. You got your own homemade watercolors. If you have your own watercolors, terrific, use those. Be my guest. Now, obviously, we have to think about what type of supplies we have at home. If you don't have watercolors, that's okay. Keep in mind, the watercolors are really cheap at the dollar store. You can grab those anytime you wish. But if you have colored pencils and crayons, then guess what? You can color the leaves in colored pencil and crayon just as well. You can also do the designs in colored pencils and crayons anytime you wish to. If you have markers, I would do the designs in markers, and then I would color the leaf itself in colored pencil or crayon if those are the supplies that you have. Either way, they're going to come out fantastic. I'm going to come back in a few minutes. I'm going to show you how we're actually going to add the watercolor in each of the areas in between the veins. Take your time. Really make it nice. Think about what you want to do. Think about the designs you want to do. I'm really excited about this one. I know these are going to come out amazing. I can't wait to see yours.